And good morning. It's 7:03 on this Thursday, March 5th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome. It's a Thursday morning, and we're ready to talk about Bates Ford this morning. We've got Paul Tubbs here, the Dealer Operations Manager, and good to see you again.
Glad to be here.
You kind of been on special assignment here for a couple of weeks.
Unfortunately, my mother-in-law's been ill, so I kind of had my bus duty. I had to make my trip around Walter J. and then go through Coles Ferry, take my boys to school, so it kind of made it a... She does a lot for us and really helped out, and it was kind of... I learned how much she really does. Going to baseball practices, basketball at Upward, taking kids to school every day. You know, you don't really appreciate the little things until you don't have them.
Well, I hear you there. Well, Ronnie Kelly has been here by himself for 2 or 3 weeks. Is it 2 or 3?
I think it was 2 I missed.
Okay,
sure.
All right. Well, he did a good job. We last week we had some extra time for, believe it or not, our fire chief decided not to come.
Our A1 fire chief, we had to give him a hard time.
I don't know. Wait till I see him again. He never did tell us what happened, so I don't know. But I
asked Ronnie Kelly if it was a Dodge truck he drives. Maybe he couldn't get started or something. You know, if we could get him a Ford in the driveway.
Anyway, I got to know a lot about Ronnie, and he's had quite a background, really, in the automotive. And I didn't know.
Ronnie does a great job. He's well connected in the community. You know, even during this tough time, I want to say, you know, with all the things that's going on in our community, Ronnie's really, you know, he gets involved in a lot of different things and charitable and gives his time and is involved in his church, involved in several different clubs. And, you know, one thing he really does is help us out in the community. He feeds homeless on Saturday night. A lot of times if we clean out closets or do stuff, I bring him clothes, shoes, stuff like that. And, you know, he does a lot of stuff.
Well, and then the rest of the time, at least when he's at work, he's selling cars.
We only hope. We just got to get him there.
Well, we talk about a lot of different things, and I don't think I've even mentioned your name and address this morning, but of course it's Bates Ford, and located at 1673 West Main in Lebanon, the dealer that'll trade for anything you don't eat. And I don't know of any other dealer just like that.
No, we got a lot of different things going on. And I want to say, the Bates Ford's really wanting to get involved in the community. And our leader really took a big hit, and that's Tony Bates. He lived on Leeville Pike. And, we finally got to him, I guess, Tuesday. We actually closed the dealership, and a bunch of our employees went up there with chainsaws. And, he had trees. He couldn't get up his driveway. Couldn't get in or out. Roof gone. His house is pretty much destroyed. He had some buildings with some farm equipment and things like that, and he had a building right in the middle that had 3 old Ford trucks. That's his big thing, is them old vehicles. Didn't touch that building with the 3 old Ford trucks, but pretty much demolished everything else. So, and it's not just Tony, it's the whole community that's been affected. And, Bates Ford wants to try to be there to support. And, when you see one of your own get something like that, it shows a lot. If there's anything we can do, Ford offers some deals right now for some programs for 90-day deferred cash, where if somebody's vehicles have been damaged or destroyed, if there's something that Bates can do, we'll certainly try to help the community.
Well, I was so sorry to hear that. You had told me that before we went on the air. I had not heard that. We really, with all the damage that's been done, unless you just find out about a certain individual, you don't really know who all has been affected. But it's coming up now, and sorry to hear that. Will he be able to repair and get back?
Well, we're going to see. Luckily he had a house that he was actually restoring or remodeling, and it was almost done. So we actually got him yesterday, moved into a different location. So his house isn't livable, but that he's alive, and
Sure.
There's people that's not, and we look at it that way. We're blessed that that there's people that's not so blessed. And, like I said, Bates is there. We understand we've been affected by it, but we haven't been affected near as much as there's other people in this community that has been greatly affected, a lot worse than what we are. And we just feel fortunate. And, if there's anything, like I said, that the Bates Ford family can do to give back, we're certainly going to be involved and try to do that.
Well, while we're talking about the people at Bates Ford, anybody else have any bad situation?
I don't know. Charlie Lowe worked at Ford Glass for years. he lived down there and his house got affected, but he didn't get, there was, like I said, we're blessed. It was storm damage.
Yeah.
But Charlie, he's been involved in the community here in Lebanon for years, worked at Ford Glass Plant. He runs our MARTAs. He's kind of retired and just does some stuff for us. He's not, he works for us and works with us and been part of our family for years and bought several vehicles and does a lot of, dealer transfers and MARTAs and things like that. But, he got some damage. But as far as that, everybody else was, like I said, we look at the big picture and, we're blessed just to, know that Mr. Bates and Charlie and everybody, still alive, because there's people that's not, and we understand that.
Well, we can talk a little bit about tires this morning, because you do have tires and you have a good price.
And we put a set on yesterday for a customer on a Nissan, and he had some tire prices from around, and he came and got a price from me, and it was a friend of a friend, and he was like, y'all are almost $45 cheaper than what anybody else. And I said, yeah, plus you get your free rotation, and we give free inspection every time you come in, give you your multi-point inspection. Them tires had a particular rebate of $70 that he actually bought a set of tires and got a $70, and the $70 wasn't included in the price match. So, we were $45 cheaper than everybody else. Plus he was still getting $70 rebate back. So he thought that was a pretty good deal there.
Yeah, well over $100.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you also have the oil change, cheapest oil change in town.
We do that every time. $28.95 up to 5 quarts. Again, I always say it's not a full synthetic. So if somebody's got a vehicle that takes full synthetic, we certainly can't do it for $28.95, but we can do most all vehicles for $28.95. And then there again, I always stress it's not just an oil change. It's a full inspection where we check your brakes, your batteries, your hoses. We'll test your battery. We'll make sure we give you tire tread depths. We give you brake measurements and let you know if there's anything that you need.
I want to ask you something sort of related to the storm that's come through. We've seen pictures, we've seen video where there's a lot of cars that's been damaged, and I'm sure there's a lot of them that's just totaled. But then there's probably some that aren't. And if some, you'll trade for anything? Mm-hmm. You'll trade for one of these cars that's been damaged?
Oh, we do that. We have customers who have vehicles that's damaged and stuff like that. A lot that's been in wrecks. We've had people that's had totals that'll come in with insurance settlements, and we'll, handle that and, wait on their insurance check for them. We've had people that have vehicles that's just got minor damage or has major damage, and we'll trade for it, and we'll actually fix the vehicle. If it's not repairable, then we'll just get rid of it. One thing that we always try to do is, one, we like vehicles that we make sure that they're roadworthy and great, to sell so we can stand behind our product, but also, we don't sell something that's been totaled or rebuilt or something like that. We'll just get rid of. We don't, we're not going to keep something. But if it's minor damage, scratches, dent here or there, we'll certainly fix it and make sure and run it through the shop and, put it on the lot if it's something we can sell.
Do you do that kind of repair work?
We don't have a body shop.
Okay, that's kind of that's the way I should ask the question. Right,
we don't. We've got a couple of friends in the community that we use and stuff like that. So, we do have a lot of used vehicles there again that we do send out and get body repairs and things like that. And there's a couple of local business owners we use.
Well, if Ronnie was here, he'd be talking more about the deal that he could give you. You don't sell many cars yourself.
I have a lot of friends and family that come up, and a lot of people from the community, from the golf course, the country club, and stuff like that. I'm involved in it a lot. I can give them prices. I can do every bit of it. The other day, a real good friend of mine called, and he wanted a vehicle. So I went and got the price of the vehicle. He said, well, I got, he brought his trade by, and I gave him a price on his trade, and he said, well, okay. He said, go ahead and write it up. So I did all the paperwork, did everything, and then I went in there and laid it on Ronnie Kelly's desk and said, congratulations, you sold a car today.
Well, that's good. Good for Ronnie anyway.
Yeah, he reaping the benefits. I did all the work and gave him the sale, but yeah, he does a lot for us. And like I said, it was one of his customers. It's a friend of mine, and he called and said, hey, how much is this truck? He seen it online, and I looked, and I said, well, here's what I can sell it to you for. And then he said, well, I'm going to trade my F-150 in. I said, run it by, let me look at it and drive it and make sure, everything works and tires are good and all that. He ran it by, and I appraised it and gave him a price and then laid it on Ronnie Kelly's desk and gave him a sale there.
You did do all that. Nearly all.
But I try to stay heavily involved. I was brought up in the parts and service side of the business, but, I'm involved in the sales end of it now very heavily. That Tony's kind of put me over the whole dealership, so I had to kind of dive in and learn how the front end works. And I think it's been about a year and a half I've been running everything, and it's worked out well for all of us, so I enjoy it.
When are you going to get back on the golf course?
I was on there last Sunday. Hopefully, one thing I got is both my kids are starting baseball. Now, this storm's kind of thrown a wrench in that. One of my sons plays at Walter J. Middle School, and they were supposed to have games here. And then I coach a team over at Lebanon Youth Baseball that Bates Ford sponsors. It's a 7-year-old team, 7 and 8. And I seen that there was a severe damage to the park over there. I don't know how long the baseball program is going to be up and running, but like I said, it's just the community's going to have to rebound, and like I said, it's there to support it. But just like the baseball program, Tony sponsors a team here in the local community. But there's some serious damage. I heard the park over there is probably going to be a good while before the kids can get out on the field.
Well, I guess we've kind of put first things first, and you got to admit that that's kind of on the back burner.
Yeah, like I said.
People's homes and businesses damaged and that sort of stuff.
There's people that had a lot worse than that, and families this morning, and, and like I said, Bates is there to support, and, Mr. Bates took a hit, but, he's still alive, and we're still blessed that, he's part of what we're doing and helping us.
Well, Paul, thanks so much for being with us today. It's time for us to take a break here, but we'll remind everybody again, it's Bates Ford, 1673 West Main. Paul is the dealer operations manager, and the dealer that'll trade for anything it don't eat.
Thank
See
you
you next time.
Thank you.
Okay, let's take a break. This is Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing has experienced new leadership and a new atmosphere. Same location in the heart of Lebanon, 731 Castle Heights Court on the Castle Heights campus. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing is providing 5-star clinical outcomes to short-term and long-term care residents. Call 615-444-4319 for a tour and to experience the new culture. Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing.
The temperature's dropping, and so are the prices at Bates Ford. We got some great deals for you. We got vehicles with rebates up to $10,000, 0 interest for 72 months. On the service side, we got tires with rebates of up to $140. We've got the Works vehicle package, which includes an oil change and a tire rotation for the low price of $49.95. Come see us at Bates Ford, 1673 West Main Street, 444-8221, or visit us on the web at www.tonybatesford.com, the dealer that will trade for anything that don't eat.
It's all about taking care of you, and THW Insurance will do just that. Are you looking for home or auto insurance? THW represents Westfield Insurance and other fine companies. Together, we will protect you and your family. Call Carl Ragland at 615-443-6530 or stop in and see him at the Wilson Bank and Trust Providence location in Mount Juliet.
All right, Jenny Lynn Brinkman, are you on the telephone with us?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, we're on the air now, and we welcome you to our program representing the City Council this morning. And with all that's been going on, you had something else to do, and this slipped your mind, and we certainly understand. But everybody's got a story, so if you want to, let's start out with your story about the storm.
Yes, we were, we feel blessed that, our home was not impacted, but feel really bad for the rest of the community. But it's heartening to see everybody pull together and help one another. It was a very scary night for all of us.
Well, what I know we had Mayor Ash with us yesterday, and he said the meeting Tuesday night was postponed or actually canceled, and so I don't think you had a heavy agenda anyway. But What's claiming your attention as far as being on the city council, other than the effects of the storm here?
Well, we're close to heading into the budget season as we start preparing the budget year for the next fiscal year, and then we are very excited about some things that are happening for my ward in particular. We are moving forward with the Caro Bend Park, where our architects that we're working with Goodall Homes has the bids and everything about ready, the construction documents that we can review so that we can go out to bid and get in the more approximate cost for the park as it comes alive. The goal is to have a groundbreaking this spring. So it'll be the first park in Ward 6. It's on Caro Bend, right off the road from Highway 70. Mm-hmm. It's about 16 acres. It's going to be a family passive park. It's going to have walking trails, playground, a pavilion, as well as restrooms.
Well, I'm sure you're looking forward to that, maybe even especially more since it's in your ward of town.
Yes, that was one of the things that when I came on that I was passionate about, to ensure that the west side of town had access to recreation to improve our quality of life. And as the city is growing, it's more important than ever for us to be able to conserve some green space now. As Lebanon city boundaries are continuing to grow, the west side is going to be more and more active. And so I'm glad that I really appreciate Goodall partnering with us to make this happen. It's going to be a great asset to the community.
Well, let me bring up something that was just called to my attention by Paul Tubbs a minute ago. There's been some damage to our baseball fields here, and I take it we're talking about for the most part Baird Park. Did you know? Can you talk about that a little?
Yes, I've been briefed slightly. I do know we sustained some damage there. Right now, it's helping residents and commercial is priority number one for the city. And so because right now we have a lot of the public service and police and fire who have been so actively engaged through this process with the tornado damage and, help getting volunteers out. And so as the city moves forward, we'll look at the ball fields, and luckily, right now that's not priority, obviously, but we will be addressing it as we kind of start to assess the damage.
Well, do you know any particulars at all about damage that might have been done? Are there signs maybe blown down, or is there damage to concession stands, or the fields torn up, or do you have any real information about that?
I don't really have any real information about that. Most of the information that's been disseminated to us has been more about things that are impacting like street lights and city, and as well as commercial businesses and getting roads open. So I haven't been briefed to extent about Baird Park, and I'm sure William Porter and his crew have assessed the damage and what will need to be done. I know that the police chief has advised Mayor Ash on how we can start to prepare for FEMA assistance, and we're going to be engaging our grant coordinator for the city to start monitoring all of those expenses so that as we move forward, we can expedite that process as much as possible.
I have difficulty sometimes keeping up with the exact geography of each ward of the city, but as far, let's see, what are you Ward 6?
I am Ward 6. I'm adjacent to 4 and 5. Majority of the damage in Lebanon occurred around Ward 4, around 109, and then over in Ward 2, 231, and then along Leeville Pike as well. So
really, your ward of town hasn't been impacted to any degree by the storm then?
It has not, and I will have to say the reports I've been getting of Ward 6 residents who are helping and going out and volunteering to help the rest of the community has been incredible. Mm-hmm. Everybody has really come together and engaged in helping each other's neighbors. I was on the phone with several that I could hear chainsaws in the distance, and they were out there helping people, helping their neighbors.
Well, it's going to take some time to recover. There's no question about that, and I don't know if I'll ask you if you know. Has electricity been restored to everybody yet, or we still have a few that haven't?
I think there's still a few places in the city that are still without power. I know our side of the town has been restored. I know Middle Tennessee Electric is working around the clock. There's still power lines down along Leeville Pike. So they're trying to get power to everyone as quick as they can. I think they're just kind of triaging that right now as they're trying to get that back up and running.
Well, let's you said the budget, you'll be working on that before long. Anything we could talk about there this morning?
Sure. Yeah. So what we'll be doing is the process is we will meet with each department. Each department prepares their budget and goes through and identifies where can they find savings and efficiencies. What is their capital needs? They'll be generating that list. Now, last year we unfortunately had to raise taxes quite a bit. We don't foresee that happening at all this year. And it's been great news to hear that the sales tax referendum did pass, which will help the city budget as we prepare for growth. I've mentioned to the mayor as well as the finance commissioner about beginning the process of a 5-year capital improvements plan for the city. I think every department head, I've encouraged this to start thinking long term, prioritizing their needs and what do we need to look at over the next 5 to 10 years and prepare for it and budget for it. We are going into the budget season with a nice reserve so we can address some of those more immediate capital improvement needs. And so what we'll do is we'll have a full day session where each department will present to the council their budget and allow us to have time to consider their requests, understand the priorities, and make our decision as a group. I think this will be our second year going into a 1-year budget, which will be a much easier process. Now that the city has transitioned from a 2-year to a 1-year budget, we have a better understanding of what our expenses are and where we need to increase or decrease.
Jenny Lynn Brinkman, representing Ward 6, the city of Lebanon, is with us this morning. And I have just been handed a note here that a caller, Wayne Oakley, calls to say that Baird Park damaged Field 9 concession stand and fence, and Lebanon girls softball park had the most damage. So a little update there, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, we kind of caught you off guard here. You had been so busy doing other things you had forgot this morning. Are you okay for 2 or 3 more minutes? Or do you need to go right now? You okay?
Yes, I'm good to go.
All right. How long is it going to take us to kind of get back to normal? I mean, your meeting was canceled the other night. Any really important stuff that we need to get to addressed in a hurry here, or by the next meeting things be a little bit more back to normal and back to business as usual, maybe?
Yeah, it's my understanding the mayor has rescheduled. He's calling a special council meeting for Tuesday night, March 11th, to do the agenda that we missed Tuesday night. So I believe that's going to be back on schedule, and then we will get back to normal schedules. As far as getting back to normal, it's going to be a process, and I want to say a huge shout out to the city employees who have engaged as well as the volunteers. There was significant damage and really in hindsight, Lebanon and the city of Lebanon came off a whole lot better than our other surrounding communities, and we'll be helping them as well as we move through. Getting back to normal operations, the city is, the city public services is out there. They're doing their normal runs. They're doing their normal sanitation runs. We're engaging our construction crews from current projects to help with the storm damage, and as soon as we can, we'll get them back into operating. So what we would ask is that the citizens kind of be patient as we get through all of this, but know that the city is fully engaged in the process and they're trying to do everything that they can.
Well, there's no question there's some departments, some people who work with the city here who are being really it's really taxing on them. I'm thinking about garbage collection, for example. I don't know if that can how much interruption there may have been, and if that is back on schedule, you think of all the trash that's going to have to be picked up and have to go somewhere. There's still probably some decisions along that line that somebody, maybe Jeff Baines, has got to have a big input for and push the right buttons to get us all headed in the right direction and back to normal.
Yeah, what I would say is citizens need to monitor the city's Facebook page where public service, specifically the public services page, where they will be posting how and when that debris can be disposed of and what are the instructions to go forward. So I will double check with Jeff on how they plan to do that, but I would say that would be the best source of information to understand how they can get rid of the debris that is around their home.
Well, we kind of caught you a little bit off guard here this morning. I appreciate you taking time to talk with us on the phone, and it's always good to hear from you. There's a lot of responsibility on the seven of you, I guess it is. How many awards we got in the city? Six. All right, six people.
And the mayor, yeah.
I'm not all here this morning, but the six of you who are responsible for a lot of what's happening in the city of Lebanon, we appreciate all the good work you do, the decisions that you have to make. I know you don't make them lightly, and I know that you doing your best to put our best foot forward. So thanks for being with us this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much. You have a good day, okay?
All right, okay. That is Jenny Lynn Brinkman. She represents Ward 6 in the city of Lebanon, and we're going to take a break right here, and part two coming up. This is Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:28. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Absolute Kubota and Rental Exmark. Large inventory of Exmark mowers for homeowners and commercial users. #1 selling brand, bought 2-to-1 over any other commercial mower brand. 1325 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. It's starting to bunch up now right on schedule here. 65 southbound at Trinity Lane. There is a minor accident there at 2nd and Korean Veterans Boulevard. Bell Road at Davenport is over to the side. Watching traffic volume increase out here to Kingston Springs right now on 40 East. All that traffic flow this time of the morning coming out of Dixon County. Hey, the Music City Irish Fest in Nashville kicks off March 14th. Check it out, musiccityirishfest.com. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
The Pavilion Senior Living residents are inviting you to become their new neighbor. If you're looking for a sign to move, call us at 444-5556 to learn more about the details. Or go to thepavilionseniorliving.com for more information. Or better yet, just drop by 1408 Medical Center Drive right behind Tenova Hospital and see for yourself. You should move here.
Today there is a low chance of rain showers, otherwise skies will be partly cloudy. Highs today will top out in the low 60s. A cold front will move through on Friday, leaving for cooler temperatures in place. Temperatures on Friday will only reach the low 50s with plenty of sunshine. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty. Professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist TJ Scott.
Well, we welcome you to part two of Coleman and Company. Everybody's wanting to talk here this morning, but we've got Heather Sadler on the phone this morning to talk about the Pavilion Senior Living in Lebanon. Heather, good morning to you.
Good morning. Of course I want to talk, Coleman. Have you met me?
But you're talking all the way from West Virginia this morning.
I am looking at the hills of West Virginia. I sure am, and it's beautiful up here.
Well, even your special assignment in that direction doesn't keep you from being on the radio with us, so that's good.
Well, you're a priority in my life, Coleman.
Well, we do talk about the pavilion every Thursday at this time, and of course it's located to the north of Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital, 1409 Medical Center Drive, and Heather is the marketing director, and I guess you have been from the beginning, haven't you?
I have been there since the assisted living was an idea in people's heads, and then the foundation, and from there. Yeah.
Well, always good to have you with us. What you got for us today?
Well, just like all of Wilson County and has been affected by the storms, we are very, 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 very lucky that our residents and our communities were spared. We had some I can't even tell you how good our third shift employees were to get everybody to their safe spot and in a quick manner to make that happen. And everybody jumped in, came in early just to make sure our residents were taken care of, and honestly didn't miss a beat. They even had coffee the next morning, so which a lot of Wilson Countyans didn't have. So
Right.
We were really blessed that we could take care of our residents, and we also lent some hands to some other healthcare agencies that needed some shuffling at the last minute. So we had the opportunity to help out a little bit. So it kind of makes us all jump in and pitch in at times like this for sure.
Well, I've got to ask this: when you're away like you are on this special assignment, who does what you normally do at the pavilion?
Well, I have a team there. I have Victoria Harrison and I have Maggie Burrows Simpson that's there. So I have some teammates that help me out a whole lot. So they're in that building a lot and on our marketing team. So I turn it over to them, and we all work together.
Yeah. Well, I got to ask you about your daughters this morning.
They're doing good. Sophie I really had to explain tornadoes to her when we were in the bathtub the other night. And poor Savvy was sound asleep when I picked her up to put her in the bathtub, and I put pillows in there. She woke up, y'all. It was the funniest look on her face, like, where am I and what has happened? But they did really well, and a lot of learning opportunities for them too. That's the first time they'd ever experienced anything like that. But they're doing good. Listen, Gran's at home with them, and they are being spoiled. I promise you.
Okay, but being taken very good care of.
Yes, and they actually get to start back to school today. That Cedars opens up today, so I'm sure Gran's going to appreciate a little bit of relief today while they go to school for a little bit.
Well, has anything really been put on hold, or everything going for the most part full steam ahead as far as the pavilion is concerned?
Actually, full steam ahead. We've got two people moving in. One today and one tomorrow. So we're up and going at full steam ahead, and we still have some availability on our new wing. That was so we've got some other assisted livings that were damaged, and so we've had some families look at if they have to move, but we still have some availability. And luckily, since we added that new wing, we did have availability, so we kind of opened at the perfect timing. But we still have some studio and one bedrooms open, and we just come on by, enjoy a cup of coffee, and look around and let us answer any questions you have about assisted living.
And if you haven't been to the website, that's a good place to start too, because you've got a good website and a lot of information there, a lot more than we can talk about in 5 or 6 minutes here on the radio.
That's right, because we've got some ebooks on there, and we've got a lot of articles on things that are senior living related, like signs that for memory care, and we've got a checklist for what the next steps are. We have some cool brain activities and some crossword puzzles that still puzzle me too. So we have a lot of stuff that we spend a lot of time on there for our resources.
Well, I hope that you have a successful business trip here. You get everything taken care of in West Virginia and get back here and keep things going at the pavilion here on right here in Lebanon, Tennessee at 1409 Medical Center Drive.
I will be back Saturday morning. So.
All right.
All right. Thank you so much. Y'all have a good one. Talk to y'all next week.
Yeah, talk to you next week. Appreciate it. All right. That is Heather Sadler, Marketing Director for the Pavilion Senior Living. We're about 22 before the hour. Actually, it's 22 and a half before 8 o'clock. And Corey Cluck joins us this morning. She's going to be talking about Sherry's Run, but Corey is the operations manager. And with that, let me welcome you to our program again.
Good morning, Coleman. Thanks for having me.
It's nice to have you here.
Great to be here.
sometimes it's great to be anywhere.
Well, that is true. That is true.
Like I was telling Jenny Lynn a few minutes ago, everybody's got a story. What kind of storm story you got for us?
Well, mine was very uneventful, and I'm thankful and very blessed because so many were not quite as fortunate.
Right.
We didn't have any power outages. It just missed our whole neighborhood. So I know that's not the case for so many, and definitely praying
that's
for.
my story too.
Yeah.
In fact, I said the other day, if my sister-in-law hadn't called us in the middle of the night, we probably would not even known there was a storm going through.
Yeah.
But,
I heard the siren, so that was good. I got the alert on my phone, and we got in our space, but it missed us. So I'm just praying for all those, though, that suffered
Well,
so much.
we have had a lot of damage, but a lot of work has been done. And in the streets, I think all of them you can get through. Now, I don't know of any that are cordoned off that where they don't allow you to go. So they've made a lot of progress. There's still a lot to be done.
Yeah, and it's just amazing to see the community and how this community pulls together.
And I think that's really happening all over Middle Tennessee.
It is.
From what we hear, especially from the TV reports.
Right.
People, in fact, I think they said in Mount Juliet they had more volunteers and they're turning them away.
Yeah.
And that's
amazing.
Yeah. But life has to go on, and Sherry's Run is still going to be held, and you're still going to be doing the things you do. So
that's right.
And I think you're here this morning to kind of give us a progress report, or maybe something, an event coming up that we need to talk about.
We're here to talk about March being Colon Cancer Awareness Month.
Okay.
So it's a little bit different than what we typically are here talking about. This is not about the 5K event, but just trying to get everybody to get tested and take care of, consider their colon health and try to catch something before it turns into a bad disease.
Yeah, and really, Sherry's Run started out, and I think the benefits of it in the beginning were aimed almost solely at colon cancer.
They were.
But it has evolved into something a lot bigger than that. But that was kind of the goal in the beginning because that was the problem that Sherry had.
Exactly, yeah. She passed away from colon cancer at 44 and had no family history. And so it was just something that just completely came out of the blue. And those first couple of years, the idea was we're going to cure colon cancer. We're going to raise enough money to cure colon cancer. And God had a different plan and shifted us to a place where we are now, which is where we offer financial assistance while families are going through cancer treatment for any type of cancer. But we still are really passionate about Colon Cancer Awareness Month and trying to get people to get tested.
When I got the word the other day you were wanting to be on to talk about this, and they said, one of the reasons March is Colon Cancer Month, and we need to get them here as soon as possible. And I think this was the first day I had available.
That's right. We jumped on it.
Well, it's with the election that we've had and having to rearrange some things. I even bumped a few people because they were wanting to buy political time on the program. Right. So it's kind of been a juggling act. But it is nice to have you with us again.
Well, we appreciate it a lot.
And the fact that there's a lot to be talked about this because in almost any kind of illness or sickness or disease, early detection is very important.
Absolutely.
And I think it is paramount important with colon cancer.
It sure is. In fact, when you find it early, it's 90% curable. So those are huge odds in your favor if you will just get tested. And the test kits that we offer are a great first step. We will send them to you free of charge. Our great gastroenterology partners that partner with us, and if you don't mind, I'll name those because we appreciate them so much. St. Thomas Medical Partners Gastroenterology, Gastrointestinal Health, Associates in Gastroenterology, and Vanderbilt Integrated Gastroenterology, all right here in Lebanon. 4 great options for you for a gastroenterologist if you don't already have one. They partner with us to process these test kits. So all it costs you is your time and the postage to mail the kit to one of our partners.
That's it.
That's it. And it's super simple.
It's not something we like to discuss maybe in depth and this sort of thing.
Right.
But isn't it all fairly simple?
It is very simple. It's a lot easier than it used to be actually. Now there's a little tube that has some liquid in it. Of course, nobody likes to talk about their poop, but it's what it is. It's something we all do, and it's something we need to test. And so you just, there's instructions in this kit that tell you exactly how to go about getting your sample and putting it in this tube. You put it in there, fill out a piece of paper with your name and address, and mail it off. And I always say this is the one test you want to fail. You want a negative result. But if you do have a positive result, this test for blood in your stool, if you do have a positive result, then you need to follow up with a gastroenterologist. You're welcome to use the gastroenterologist that is on the kit that does your results and sends it back to you, but you are not required to. You're under no obligation to. You can see your own if you already have one, or anyone else that's in your insurance network. Just please follow up and see one.
All right, and I mean, I guess this can be done almost any time, but there's a special since this has been designated. This month's been designated Colon Cancer Awareness Month. Then this is the time more information is disseminated.
Right.
You probably have more people who will take time out, and maybe it's a better time in March than it is maybe in the summertime or other times of the year. We're not as busy right now.
Right.
Usually,
that's true.
Yeah.
And
I'm
it is.
sure all of that's kind of been factored into this.
I guess so. I'm not sure who decided March was Colon Cancer Awareness Month, but we certainly always want to participate in that. But we do have these kits available year round. So if you do one now and you think you need to take one later in the year, well, let us know. We'll be glad to send one to you anytime.
All right, we're going to go to a break in about a minute here, but before we do, what's the easiest way if somebody wants one of these kits?
So send a text message to 615-925-2592 with your name and address, and we will send it out to you.
All right, give me that number again.
615-925-2592.
2592. So it's that easy.
That easy.
And you'll get one right out to them. They can take advantage of this and send it off. And,
That's right.
And then the results come back.
That's right.
And hopefully you fail the test.
Hopefully you fail the test. That's right.
All right. Corey Clark is with us. We've got more to talk about, but it's time for us to do a break here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:44. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Bates Ford, regular oil change only $28.95. 5 quarts of oil, tax and disposal. 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. It's bumper to bumper 65 southbound here, trying to get past Diggers on Pike, coming down to Trinity Lane. It's heavy in this area already this time of the morning. It's a very minor wreck there on 65 south, just south of Trinity Lane, 2nd and Korean Veterans Boulevard. That wreck should be out of there in just a few minutes. And traffic's on the increase big time out of Dixon County, now on 40 East up by 840 all the way through Kingston Springs. Hey, Prince's Hot Chicken is the original hot chicken in Middle Tennessee. It's worth that short drive to 5814 Nolensville Pike. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
Cumberland University Baseball is live this season on WANT and WCOR. Tune in for all of the home games and all of the Mid-South Conference matchups with Coach Woody Hunt's 3-time champion Cumberland Phoenix baseball team. Mitch Walters brings you all of the action on WANT FM 98.9 and WCOR AM 1490. For a complete schedule, visit GoCumberlandAthletics.com. It's live Cumberland University Baseball on WANT and WCOR.
She's taken care of you your whole life. Now it's your turn to take care of her. But with a family of your own and other responsibilities, there just aren't enough hours in the day. That's why it might be time to call the Pavilion Senior Living. From bathing, dressing, housekeeping, and meals, the Pavilion Senior Living is committed to being senior living you can trust for your loved one. Find out more at pavilionseniorliving.com or call 444-5556. That's 444-5556.
71 degrees all the way.
73 degrees, please.
So what's your perfect degree of comfort? We'll help you find it with professional Rheem HVAC service that'll keep your home comfy year-round, save on energy costs, and may qualify for utility rebates and tax credits. So enjoy a new degree of comfort.
72 degrees, and I'm good to go.
Financing available through TVA's Energy Right program and your local power company. Call Randy's Heat and Air 237-3604.
Coleman and Company, welcome to our program this morning and to our final segment here for a Thursday. Corey Clark is with us, and Corey is the operations manager for Sherry Rudd. Now, most people in the community know about Sherry's Run. It's held early September. Is it what? First Saturday?
Second Saturday in
Second
September.
Saturday in September
Yes, sir.
every year. We're not talking much about that this morning. It is a fundraiser, of course, and it has evolved into something that helps a lot of people. You have people. I think you don't have the money to help all the people that ask, but you make it go as far as you can every year.
Yes, sir.
And, but the main thing we're talking about this morning is March is Colon Cancer Awareness Month.
Yes.
And the part of the awareness is having the test to see if you're, and now the results of that test, everybody, we talk about it's a test you want to fail, but if you when you get the results back, what does it say?
It just says negative or positive.
Okay,
so that
all right,
means
let's
it's either
say-
negative or positive for blood in your stool.
Okay, all right. So if it's negative, that's why you don't have to do anything. Everything's lovely.
Well, right. Ideally, that's the idea. Of course, there are some caveats to that. If you have a family history, you really probably just want to go on and see a gastroenterologist. These are great tests and they're great first steps, but they don't take the place of a colonoscopy.
Okay, all right.
So if you have certain risk factors, if you are, like I said, a family history, if you have any sort of symptoms that are going on that you're concerned about, go see a gastroenterologist. If you're 50 or older and you've never had a colonoscopy, go see a gastroenterologist. But if you're in between colonoscopies and want to do this test, if you have no risk factor, if you've never been tested, if you're younger, we encourage everyone to get tested, but we do stress this does not take place of a colonoscopy.
All right, but if it comes back positive, then there's some blood in the stool.
Right, and that doesn't necessarily mean cancer.
Right.
It can mean any sort of thing. So that's why it's so important to follow up with a gastroenterologist and let them walk through that with you and try to figure out what the cause is, and go from there.
So this is really just a start here, and
Yes.
for most people, if it comes back negative, that's okay. You'll do another one in by next year anyway.
Right. Yeah, we encourage everyone to take this test every year.
Mm-hmm.
And we have had several stories of people who took this test that were younger than 50 and they had a positive result and turned out they had polyps and they were able to get those polyps removed early. And so those polyps didn't stay in there and turn into colon cancer later. And that's why it's so important to get tested. And this is such an easy test to do, and it's very accurate.
And you were talking about Sherry earlier. How old was she?
She was 44.
Yeah, I had a daughter-in-law who
Yes.
was 32 or 3,
Right.
and this happened to her. No history, no nothing.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, she has stage 4 colon cancer.
Right.
And lived about a year and a half. It's a sad story for Gary Whitaker. It's a sad story for my son Brian Walker, and they're very similar.
Yes, they are very similar. And I followed Sarah's story at that time. And oddly enough, my father was fighting colon cancer at the same time that Sarah was. A different scenario. He was 74, had been stubborn and refused to go get his colonoscopies at 50 and later, and then ended up with colon cancer. So there's lots of different scenarios. But oddly enough, they're seeing an uptick in younger folks ending up with polyps and or colon cancer because the conventional wisdom is you don't get tested until you're 50 or older. I think the American Cancer Society is now saying 45 you should start getting tested. But older folks are starting to get tested as they should, 50 and older. But younger than 50, they're not. So they're actually seeing an increase.
But really, it wouldn't be anything wrong with somebody 30, 35 years old just taking this simple test.
Oh, absolutely. It wouldn't be anybody, no matter what your
Probably
age.
be a good idea.
Be a really great idea because this could be the thing that helps them determine you have a polyp that can be removed early. My husband was one of those.
And here again, you're saying that really all you've got to do is call the number here, which we'll give again.
Right.
You give them the information, name and address, really.
Name and address is all we need. And you can reach out to us, too, through our social media platforms and direct message us there. You can send an email to us, sherrysrun@gmail.com, or call even that number or send a text.
Which is 615-925-2424. 2592.
Yes, sir.
And this, again, you get a little package here. You
Yes.
had one, I think, that you were.
Yeah, I'm going to leave some of these with y'all.
Oh, okay.
little presents here today. But yeah, it's really simple. There's a little a vial that has liquid in it. Don't throw the liquid out. It's very important. Keep the liquid in there. It's got a little tube or a wand on attached to the top of that tube. You just stick it in your sample, put it back in there with the top on, put it in this envelope with your name and address, mail it off.
Very simple. And all
So
it
simple.
costs you is the postage to mail this back.
That's right.
Well, it couldn't be, I don't think it could be any simpler than that. And then that will tell you if blood is detected in the stool.
That's correct.
And that's about all this test does, but that is a warning sign.
Right, exactly.
There's something wrong.
Right, and it could be lots of different things.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily mean cancer, but it can mean that there's a polyp, and you remove it early enough, then it doesn't turn into cancer.
And then I believe, do you have, in what you're sent, you have the names of those 4 local...
So we have these separated out with our different partners with the mailing label on there already. So you'll receive one that already has the mailing label on there.
Okay.
So
your partners, you just... I guess you divide up these into 4.
Yeah, we try to distribute them as evenly as possible
Right.
for
that
for
they
each of
get
them.
mailed back to all 4 of them.
Yes, sir.
All that's going to do, though, is give you your results. If
Right.
you need to follow up, you can go wherever you want.
You can go wherever you want to. If you want to choose that doctor, that's great. If not, that's fine too.
Yeah. Well, I think we've taken care of this pretty well this morning, but the idea is March is Colon Cancer Awareness Month. We're following through on that here, and we tell you that it's up to you to react. We can't. We can lead the horse to water. We
That's
can't
right.
make it drink.
That is absolutely true. But we just really hope that everybody will get tested because it is so simple. It doesn't cost you anything but the postage to mail it, and it's a really good test. It's very accurate in determining if there's blood in the stool, and that is usually a first sign of something going on.
We got about 5 minutes left here. What do you do most of the time? You're the operations manager.
Well, other than focusing on March being Colon Cancer Awareness Month, I kind of do a lot of things that are focused around the run, getting the run going, making sure that all of our fabulous sponsors are contacted, and we trying to get new sponsors and get everybody signed up and ready to know who's going to be on the back of that shirt, that we are so happy that people wear year round, and just support for anything and everything that needs to happen for the run. And then also around the office, on occasion, I might need to answer a phone call for Elisa Eakes in our patient assistance office because she's, maybe with a patient or, different things. But
where is your office?
110 Bab Drive.
Okay. Yeah.
Right across from the co-op.
Yeah.
And if somebody wants to stop by there to pick up a test kit, they can do that too.
Okay, so that's fine too.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
We have limited hours, so it's usually easier to text us or call us. But
you can pick it up there, but don't take it back.
don't drop it off there. We cannot process it for you. But our sponsors, if you don't mind, or our partners, if you don't mind, I'll mention them again just because we appreciate them so much. St. Thomas Medical Partners, Gastroenterology, Gastrointestinal Health, Associates in Gastroenterology, and Vanderbilt Integrated Gastroenterology.
Right. Four different ones right here in town.
Yes, sir.
And your sample will go to one of those.
It will go to one of them.
Depending on whose address is on the one you get.
Right, exactly.
Well, I don't know how you could be more fair than that. I guess they participate pretty equally here.
They do.
So you kind of let them share the.
Yes, sir.
I don't know what you call it, wealth, but
right. Yeah, I don't know how you determine that when you're talking about a test kit.
I was thinking here how that we're talking about how people have really come to the forefront here as volunteers and helping in this time, and Sherry's run has been a lot like that. This was something that when it was started that it was just an annual thing to remember Sherry, really. And
it was.
And if it made a little money, so be it. But
right.
the money part was not the big thing.
It was not. Initially, it was just a way to memorialize.
But the way the people have responded to this, and I think you have a lot of sponsors, people who continue to do that, to shell out money to help.
We have well over 100 sponsors yearly. We have hundreds. I think this year was 500 or 600 volunteers, and we could not function. We would not be able to have a run without our sponsors and without our volunteers. We're so appreciative. It takes a lot to
But
put
what
that on.
you have done with that money has helped a lot of people too. You have probably, I don't know that this would be true, but it wouldn't surprise me to know that there's several people have been saved from bankruptcy by.
I'm not sure about that. I we hear the stories. I'm not sure, I don't know that I've heard specifically, but we definitely stay in their homes, keep the lights and water on, keep food on the table. We looked back at a 5-year impact, and in 5 years, the community has helped us raise over $1.2 million. Has helped us raise more than that, has helped us to be able to assist with more than $1.2 million in assistance to families who are fighting cancer and help over 700 families in a 5-year span. And we give the glory to God for that, and then are so grateful and thankful to our community for the support.
Right, and there's some expense involved.
There is.
I mean, you get a little bit for what you do.
Yeah, we try to though. We pride ourselves that we just have 3 part-time employees, and everything else is done on a volunteer basis. And we try to be the best stewards of the funds that we possibly can. And Elisa Eakes, our patient assistance director, is amazing in how she assists our patients and helps them and walks them through everything and provides the assistance that Sherry's Run is able to provide.
Well, I'm glad we're able to make time available here this morning. In our final minute here, remind everybody, March is Colon Cancer Awareness Month.
Yes, get your kit.
You to be aware
get
of
tested.
This. Get your kit.
Get tested. Dr. Cole used to say, "Don't die of embarrassment." And that is so true. Nobody wants to talk about this subject, but it's so important. Get your kit. Get tested, period.
You can pick it up at the office there on Babb Drive if you like. You can also call 615-925-2592. There's several ways, actually, but get
Social
the kit.
media, sherrysrun.org. If you just want to go to our website, call us, text us.
And all it costs you is the postage to mail it in.
That's it.
Okay. Thank you so much, Corey, for being with us.
Appreciate
what you do and all you're doing to help our community here. Corey Cluck, the operations manager for Sherry's Run. That's going to do it for a Thursday. I hope you'll join us tomorrow for our Friday edition. And until then, I wish you a tremendous day.